Is this my slide? Okay. The JAJ consultant team has designed a collaborative change roadmap for our newest client, Domestic Motors. The consultant team includes Jeremy Huron, Amy Reed, and Jennifer McKenzie. Please feel free to send an email to either one of us at the email addresses listed here. Next slide. Click here to view the presentation. JAJ was recently selected to provide consulting services to Domestic Motors as the organization plans and implements a plant-wide large-scale transformation initiative. There is one main purpose of the initiative, and that is to reach a critical mass of implementation of teams within 1 year in order for the plant to competitively seek new work. The three main purposes of this project supports the initiative and is to one, improve the performance of existing teams in the pilot area, the machining department. Two, implement teams throughout the remainder of the plant in the assembly and subassembly departments. And three, achieve the desired performance goals. Next slide. JAJ will use a framework that is appropriately referred to as teams, where T stands for target, E for engage, A for activate, M for measure, and S for sustain. In the target phase, we discover the organizational context for which the teams will be operating in and gain a broader understanding of the factors influencing either end of the force field, whether those forces be for change or those for maintaining the status quo. The engage phase enables us to design a two-way communication channel and relevant feedback loops across the stakeholder matrix using the RACI plus F framework to ensure we are in communication with those who are responsible or accountable and those who need to be consulted or informed about this work, as well as those who will be facilitating aspects of the transformation initiative. Next slide. Over the next 12 months, the JAJ team will work with Domestic Motors in designing, developing, implementing, and evaluating a comprehensive training and development program with three audiences: team leaders, piloted or newly formed teams, and those responsible for evaluating team performance. In January and February, JAJ will work closely with Domestic Motors management, union representatives, and representatives from various stakeholder groups across the plant to collect data insights that will guide our overall approach based on the organizational complex or context. Using a scaffolding approach, each department will go through every phase of the team's framework, where the machining department's training and development will begin in March, assembly in May, and subassembly in August. Each of the first three phases, target, engage, and activate, have 4 weeks for a total of 12 weeks, and the last two phases, measure and sustainability planning, run concurrently for 4 weeks. This means that each team will receive a dedicated 16 weeks of training, development, evaluation, and sustainability planning. Finally, in preparation for the end of the project, but the continuation of team approaches and improved team performance, JAJ will use the last 4 weeks of the project to prepare for the transitioning of the Domestic Motors team from a client receiving services to a client who is capable of maintaining the systems and supports necessary to sustain the transformation over time. The remainder of this presentation will provide details about our training and development approach through the use of a collaborative change roadmap. Next slide. Now we'll take a closer look at the purpose, core deliverables, stakeholders, and needs at each phase. Let's take a look at the target phase. The design team, executive leadership management teams, and union representatives will participate in four types of events: pre retreat design meetings to clarify goals, expectations, and scope, as well as identify stakeholders using consensus building strategies; retreat, which will take the place of their annual staff meeting, where the organization will unveil its core purpose and project purposes to reach a critical mass of teams across the organization and achieve optimal team performance. Each department will have a mini retreat to kick off their training and development process that is preceded by pre retreat design meetings that serve the same core purposes of the plant wide retreat, but with a focus on the department's needs and context. Next slide. Now let's look at the engage phase. This phase also includes purpose, core deliverables, stakeholders, and needs. The main focus and outcomes of this phase is selecting team leaders, engaging the prospective team members, as well as the direct and indirect contributors, facilitating design sessions, and informing the relevant larger staff stakeholder groups. There are two main types of events at this phase: design meetings and info lunch and learn sessions that are designed to be 1 hour, where each staff member from across the organization and cross-functional team members and other departments are able to come, share their insights, and learn more about the process and opportunities to engage. Next slide. Sorry. The Collaborative Change Roadmap is designed exclusively for domestic motors will help the I'm sorry, the Collaborative Change Roadmap designed exclusively for domestic motors will help the plant reach a critical mass of implementation of teams within 1 year by targeting the right objectives, engaging the right stakeholders, activating the training and development methods, measuring the impact of the program, and sustaining teams beyond the scope of this project. All you need is the plan, the roadmap, and the courage to press on to your destination. Earl Nightingale.